dive into the chaos of modern love, where the digital age has transformed the quest of connection into a marketplace of swipes and fleeting matches. We're peeling back the layers of dating apps, where marketization, choice overload, and the lure of endless options have reshaped romance into a game of strategy, leaving genuine connection often just out of reach. Late-stage capitalism has served up yet another banger where now not even the search for a soulmate is safe from total optimization. The unpredictability of romance, once a human experience rich with surprise and satisfaction, now comes neatly packaged within app notifications and curated profiles. We're accustomed to the instant gratification of online shopping, and somehow the quest for a partner has slipped into that same fast-track lane. We browse through potential connections presented to us with the same simplicity as online products. Each product has an associated picture, description, technical specs, even a price listed. These platforms, while designed to democratize the pursuit of love by giving users unlimited options, paradoxically introduce a marketplace mentality that prioritizes surface over substance. This shift not only changes how we engage with potential partners, but also fundamentally alters the landscape of romantic connection. It's in this marketplace that the concept of value becomes skewed, where the algorithmic sorting of profiles based on superficial metrics mirrors the dynamics of a free market driven by cold supply and demand. Yet, this commodification of romance doesn't stop at surface level engagement. It extends deeper into the very fabric of social interaction by introducing a hierarchy of desirability. Just as in any free market, there are those who are deemed high value and those who are not, creating a digital divide that mirrors the economic disparities seen in society at large. As we navigate through the digital aisles of potential matches, the reduction of romance to a series of swipes and superficial engagements brings us to a critical juncture. The algorithmically driven marketplace fostered by these platforms don't just influence how we choose, it dictates how we present ourselves. In a landscape where attention is the currency and the options are endless, the pressure to stand out transforms the quest for connection into a battle of branding.
You are just a.
Dating apps introduce a landscape where love's traditional spontaneity is filtered through the mesh of self-selection. With millions of users worldwide, these platforms are not just changing how we meet, they're reshaping the cultural fabric of intimacy. Once the territory of fate and feeling, love is now a domain of calculated choice and presentation. On these platforms, a profile is less about who you are and more about how you sell yourself. It's not just a photo or a bio, it's a strategic advertisement, a billboard of a personal brand. The marketization of romance on these apps isn't just a byproduct, it's the main feature. They craft a space where emotional nuances are distilled into binary decisions. Swipe left or swipe right. Imagine a user J. His profile isn't just a reflection of his interest or humor, it's a marketing campaign. He selects each picture and phrase with the precision of a brand manager, aiming to capture a niche market in the economy of attraction. Here's Jay in his self-made commercial, projecting an image of enlightenment and dominance, all curated to match with others in his chosen demographic. He's not alone in this. All-around users employ the same tactics, reducing the rainbow of human experience to a few marketable colors. The effect is a paradoxical abundance of details that simultaneously reveal too much and too little. Our profiles overflow with information, yet they fail to capture the depth, the quirks, the essence of our stories. We're left swiping through self-filtered caricatures, through facades that promise more than they could ever deliver. And it's in this clutter of curated personas where we find ourselves, trying to distill the complexity of our lives into a digestible, marketable package of 8 pictures and a quippy bio. But what's lost in this transformation from human to brand? The uncertain, the intangible, the real.
Dopamine machine.
In the digital age, the landscape of love has been transformed by the emergence of dating apps, evolving into what can be aptly described as a dopamine machine. This shift has introduced an environment where abundance doesn't equate to satisfaction, but becomes the very obstacle to appreciation and meaningful connection. At the heart of this transformation is the concept of choice overload, a phenomenon where the plethora of options available leads not to better decisions, but to a deep state of hyperstimulation.
Deep state.
Users are bombarded with potential matches, each match delivering a quick hit of dopamine, a reward that reinforces continuous engagement with the app. The relentless pursuit of the next match, fueled by the desire for another rush, creates a cycle that's as addicting as it is entirely unfulfilling. This abundance of choice and the ease of moving from one profile to the next without consequence contribute to a superficial evaluation of a potential partner. The app's design, centered around making snap judgment based on minimal information, just exacerbates this issue. Users are conditioned to prioritize certain attributes, often physical, over deeper, more intangible qualities that are essential for genuine compatibility. This conditioning leads to a marketplace where people are evaluated and dismissed with a speed and ruthlessness that would be unthinkable in face-to-face interactions. The result is a culture of ghosting, a byproduct of impersonal and fleeting connections formed in this hyper-stimulated market. With so many options available, the value placed on individual interactions just diminish. As supply increases, demand decreases. The ease of disappearance without accountability or social repercussion reflect a broader shift in dating dynamics, where the abundance of choice leads to a devaluation of individual connections. Ghosting becomes a normalized strategy for managing the overload, a way to quickly move on in the search for the next big thing. This environment of choice overload and hyperstimulation has profound effects on users' emotional well-being. The continuous cycle of engagement and disappointment fosters a sense of cynicism and detachment in the pursuit of relationships. The promise of endless options rather than empowering users often leads to feelings of isolation and dissatisfaction and a longing for more meaningful connection that seems increasingly elusive.
I can't answer the real question.
It's clear that the abundance promised by dating apps does not lead to an abundance of genuine relationships. Instead, it cultivates a culture of disposability where connections are fleeting and the search for something better undermines the potential for real intimacy. In this environment, the challenge becomes not just finding a match, but finding a way to navigate the paradox of choice in a manner that preserves our humanity and our capacity for deep and meaningful human connection.
Easy.
The point of this video is to not demonize dating apps, but to bring awareness of how they are fundamentally mismatched against romantic love, and how trying to optimize and marketize everything in our lives just simply won't work for everything in our lives. And I think romantic love is probably the biggest example of that. I've personally met many wonderful people, and I've had long-term relationships through the use of dating apps, and I wouldn't have met these people if it weren't for dating apps. But I personally experienced everything that was mentioned in this video, so I wanted to do some research and see if this was something that was being talked about. And it was, and anecdotally, it is being talked about. Every person I talk to, and I think that's literally true. I think every person I've talked to about dating apps pretty much say roughly the same thing in different words. And hopefully this video, I guess maybe helped you articulate, or maybe, I don't know, titillated your being a little bit.